Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ken's Show and Tell regarding this 1972 Mercedes Benz 280SE 4.5, as well as looking at pulling this distributor right here in order to look at the trigger points and see what condition they're in. Let's go ahead and pull this air cleaner apparatus off here because I want to get a good clear look at this vacuum hose, and I'm going to try to test the vacuum on the advanced retard mechanism as well in the distributor when I pull it. But let's expose a few things. Well, here's the distributor right here in front of the engine, and here's the vacuum advance right here, and here's the vacuum tube going off over in that direction, and we'll be looking at that in a minute. Connector to fuel injector. And so the first thing I want to do is remove that clip, and there's another clip right here which I will get at with a screwdriver. There we go. And now let's just kind of pull this distributor cap out and take a look. That a few years ago Jetronic's igniter was put in the distributor, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm assuming that a new cap was put in at the time. I don't know. But I'm still going to clean those contacts there with some cleaner and go over it with some fine abrasive and just make sure those are making good contact. Over here, there is the igniter, Jetronic's igniter, right down inside there. I have those in just about all my cars, and I really like them. They basically replace the points in here. And then here is something that I want to look at is this rotor button right here. Pull it off, and I will definitely clean it up. See, it's kind of dirty, but you know, I don't see any scorching or anything like that, and it's definitely Bosch, which is good. And look down in there, and it looks nice and shiny and clean. This is actually a new Bosch cap as well. I just noticed on the thing. So let me just clean this up and clean up the cap, and then we'll move forward into this distributor cap. Into the distributor, I mean. You can see where the points have been removed. That's where they would have been right here. And there's the igniter. And here's the magnet for the pickup. Okay, I'm getting deeper into this thing here. I'm just looking. I know there's some stuff I'm going to have to mark before we take this out, but let's just do one step at a time. Well, I've cleaned the rotor and the inside of the distributor cap with a combination of Deoxy 5 and 2000 grit wet and dry paint sandpaper. And here's the rotor. Looks pretty good. Looks very nice. Nice Bosch rotor. No corrosion, no chipping, no burning. So I'm pretty happy with that in terms of how it looks. So that will definitely go back in. And then let's just set this over here, and then we can look at the inside of the distributor cap, which I've cleaned as well. And you can see it cleaned up very nicely. I don't think there was anything wrong with it to begin with, because I think it's fairly new. I didn't do it to this car. I think it probably was done maybe 3-4 years ago when this Jetronic was put in by the same mechanic that messed up didn't finish the wiring on this, and I found that short down here. But those connectors look pretty good. So let's just look, and I think so we'll just start pulling this thing out. I need to mark a few spots first, and I'll show you what I'm up to. I don't want to crawl under this engine and rotate it. So what I'm doing is I'm marking where this rotor is, and it's really close to this mark here on the distributor, but I put a little red dot of paint here telling me exactly where this rotor is, so I can line things back up after I pull the distributor out. And I've also, way down in there, I don't know if you can see it, move this out of the way, I can't see it actually, that locking bolt down there that holds the distributor into the block, as well as it's an adjuster thing. I put a little blotcher where it red paint where the adjuster was or is, so when I pull things out I can put it back where it's supposed to be. And hopefully this will save me a lot of headache. So let's see what we can do about taking that bolt out and pulling the distributor out. I'm not quite sure if I need to try to unhook that first and unhook this first, or what. So let me see what I can do. Pull the vacuum hose off of this advanced mechanism here. I've wiggled this thing around, doesn't seem to want to come out easily, which is probably a good thing. And so I don't want to disturb things. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect this whole Jetronics from here and just take it out in whole with the distributor. So one little step at a time here for a job I've never done before. You get that hold down slash adjusting bolt down there. It takes an H5 metric hex wrench attached to this 3/8 inch ratchet drive. There we go, it comes loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the ratchet drive and just kind of pull this out by hand. I can see it's loose. I don't want to drop it. I read that a neat little trick would be put a piece of masking tape on the end, but I forgot to do that. I don't know if I'm going to have to do it now. We'll see. Oh, it wants to come out. Okay, I'm going to have to use two hands to get this, I believe. So let me shut off. Actually, it fell over, but it didn't fall down. Let me see if I can fish it out with this. Oops, the magnet wants to connect everything, which, there we go. I've got the bolt. Excellent. There she is. Okay. All right, let's see about this distributor. Should just pull right on out. We'll just have to see, won't we? Just like everything else. Actually, look, it's okay. It wants to come out. I'm pulling it. There, it's out. Wow, cool. I've never done anything like this before. All right. Oh, now I can see how that plug comes out. So we'll get that plug off of there and get this distributor out on the bench and just kind of look at it. Well, there's where the distributor used to be. It goes down into that hole. There's a gear that runs off a cam of some sort, and there you go. Look at that. This is the only thing that was holding it on. And I noticed there's an O-ring on the shaft that I guess is keeping the oil from down there from splashing up. So we'll look at the condition of that O-ring. This came off from the side of that, and it's shaped in such a way that it can't go back in incorrectly. So I don't have to worry about that, which is thoughtful of the engineers. Let's go over here and see what the distributor actually looks like on the bench. And here it is. Okay. This is all new to me. That thing is rock hard. And there's oil here like it's supposed to be, and there might be a little up here, but we'll look at it on the inside and I'll see if I have another O-ring to fit that. If not, I might have to order one, but I would think it would need to be pliable, not rock hard like that. And here is the plug going into the ECU for the trigger points, and trigger points are hidden behind this plate. Here's some silicone that was put on these openings here when the points were replaced. Interesting. And you see I've just pulled everything out here together with regards to the Jetronics, which I think will simplify things for me. So let's take this plate off. Let's get these wires right here. Just kind of look at these. We'll take this screw out and that screw out, and then we'll see what we have. And there's a nice little screw with a washer on it on this side. Same thing on this other side. Okay. I understand that these trigger points pull out. So let's just see. Oh, okay. Here we come. Wow. Okay. Ooh. Oh, these, I've read about this. Obviously, this is for the early ones, because the early ones have these little plastic covers on them to protect them, those trigger points, from getting grease on them and everything. So we're going to have to figure out a way to kind of clean that. Here's little felt things here that rides on these cams here. So you have 4 trigger points here. Yep. And you have 8 cylinders. I don't see anything loose. But I tell you what, if you try to buy these, the cheapest I've found on eBay is around $300. Most of them are going between $400 and $500. Huh. I think they're very interesting. So let me see about cleaning these rascals up. Let's see, oil. There's oil in here. And sometimes, and what I've read is that that's often all it is when you start getting these hesitations in your running, is the oil. But the trick is getting in there to clean them. So let's just see if we can do that. And I haven't found any instructions at all about if you can get these plastic things off without breaking them. So I'll have to study them and just see. I can see how you can replace these trigger points. There's a circlip here on either end, and that comes out. I don't think there's any adjusting per se. Here's a little, these little plastic things here right up and down on the cam. Oh, interesting. So let's just, okay, here's the other side. Okay, now let's set these aside here. Let's look inside this distributor. One thing that I did read was check, and there is no side-to-side play. Up and down is all right. Side to side is no good. But this has no side to side play. Okay, and I want to clean up this really well. I want to clean up the lobes here on this cam. Clean that up. Just with some, I've read you can use brake cleaner, different things. Here's a better look at these trigger points. This is how they sit in the distributor. And you turn them over, and there's the bottom. These little rascals here, if you can find them in good shape, about $500. So they really are worthwhile trying to save. I've cleaned them up. Those plastic covers will not come off unless you start disassembling these trigger points, and I just do not want to do that. So I was able to push these up by here. See, I can't see. Here we go. And open up these points. And you can see them working in there. And then hold them open and then spray the deoxit in there on each one of these 4. So you know you have V8 engine, you have 4 of these trigger points. 1 for every 2 cylinders. It cleaned up really well. A lot of brown stuff came out. So let's turn our attention to the distributor itself. Let's just set this aside for now. Let's look at this thing. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean the shaft and everything just like I did the trigger points, and then we'll re-lubricate. And there, just smear a little bit of grease over that. And then I'm going to see if I have an O-ring that will fit on that. That is hard as a rock. It looks like oil has gotten past there, so I need to try to replace that. So this is the idea. Let me put a light here on it, like that. So we'll just kind of spray this in here like so. This deoxit will clean a lot of different things. Let's see, we can do it inside here too. Let's turn this thing over. Yep. And we'll try to get that crud out of there. Let's start at the top here and work our way down. A little bit of this 2000 grit sandpaper. I can feel the little lobe in there. Clean this thing off. Using this and the deoxit. And also get the grease, old grease and stuff off of there. Feels nice and smooth. Yep. I was pointing out earlier, this shaft has some vertical play, but I think that's okay. It's the lateral play that you don't want to have. It means the bushings are worn out, and it has none. It's nice and tight. Okay. Let's see about cleaning that off now. Oh, yeah. Inside that housing looks all right too. Okay. Yeah, that looks really nice. I think I'll clean up the outside as well. Make it nice and clean. Yeah. Be careful about cleaning off that red mark. There's the remnants of it right there. Let me go ahead and put another mark on here. I remember it was right there. Yep. Okay, let that dry. See, and here's the other one down here. Yep. Now I'm going to check to see if the vacuum advance will hold the vacuum, and also see if it's working in here. So if it's working, when I apply a vacuum to it, this diaphragm should be moved, and this rod should go in and out like that, and that will advance and retard the distributor. So let's just see. See, it's rotating. Okay. And it is holding pressure. So it is functioning properly. Okay. See it? Oh, that's really good news. Okay, so this distributor is in good condition. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, I got the old O-ring out of there. Look at this thing. Boy, that is hard. Came apart. No longer doing its job. Here's one that should fit in there pretty good from my handy O-ring replacement kit here. It's just generic, nice and soft. It should work fine. Boy, I tell you, this kit has come in handy. So I'm going to slip this new one on here. So it should go right in there, and it should be fine. All right, one more step. This replacement O-ring I put on sticks out. Oh, sticks out more than the other one did. The other one was flat. Now I don't know if they were contoured that way or what, but this is what I have, and I suspect because it sticks out a little bit more, but yet it rides in this groove nicely, it might be a little more difficult to slide in the shaft, but it will do a really good job of sealing. And that's what I want. Next step is to lightly grease this shaft in here where these lobes are that make these trigger points open and close. Oops. And I've read different types of grease and stuff to use, but you know what? I think the most important thing is that you don't put too much, you just put a little bit. And I figure anything that's good for wheel bearings will be good for this. So this is what we're going to use, just a little bit on there. Windstorm's about to kick up out there, just a little bit. I don't want to get too much. All right, so let's see. I can spin it from the top here and just kind of put it on there. Okay. Yeah. All right. Protect those blocks from wearing too much. Right. Now the next thing to do is to drop a little oil down in here on that little felt pad that's right there. Drop just a little bit of oil right down here. Not much. Soak into that pad. That lubricates the shaft. Yeah, I'm going to put a ton in there. Okay, let that just kind of sit in a vertical position for just a little bit. Let's insert these trigger points back where they belong. There we go. I just sit right in there. And here's one screw over here. Whoop. And tighten that, at least get it started. And then put the other one in. There we go. And then we'll tighten them. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's ready to be inserted back in the car. I think I'm going to squirt a little of this deoxant down in here, just a little bit. Kind of clean that up a little bit. And I think I'll also do the female end. There. Just to be thorough, I think. The replacement O-ring worked. And you can see I've got the distributor back in. This is, the rotor is pointing exactly where it was before. And the adjuster can move like that, which is okay. I'll just line it up to where it was before and put the bolt back in. Little trick I just learned was that when you want to reinsert this, make sure this rotor is turned a significant way counterclockwise past where you want it to go in, and then it will just slide right in, because you have to line it up with the teeth on the bottom of this and the teeth on that cam sticking out from the engine itself. This looks pretty lined up. So what I'm going to do now, see, it has a little bit of movement here, which is all right. And so what I'll do now is put the nut back in there, or that bolt back in, and tighten it, or at least get it in there but not tight. And then I'll reconnect this and the vacuum advance and reconnect the ECU back into the distributor, and then we'll start the car up and kind of roughly adjust this to where it's running smoothly, and then we'll check the time. Got everything back in place except for the air cleaner apparatus and the temperature 1 sensor hooked up, but I don't need that, so I've double checked. Everything seems to be all right, so let's give this thing its first start. So here we go. Move this out of the way here. Double check, make sure all wires are in place, out of the way. Okay. I've adjusted it using the timing right, but more importantly, I think I've adjusted by ear, and it's not stumbling at idle. I can accelerate it, it's not stumbling. I'm not going to take it out and test it. I'll do that another day because it's raining. So I'm going to say that my cleaning of the trigger points and going through the distributor has been pretty good. I'm going to do something a little bit different with these wires in terms of routing and protecting them. But I think this job is done. And thank you for watching Ken's Show and Tell.